All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you a sneak peek of a project I've been working on that's going to allow you to create your static ads, your creative assets, your social media posts, the visual part of it at scale, and also allow you to really optimize your workflow. You know, with the introduction of Nano Banana, it's such a powerful program, but the UI doesn't really support creatives and creative teams. A lot of the times, especially even if you go to like Google AI Studio, the intent is to demonstrate the tech and not necessarily to give you these custom workflows that allows you to create a lot of visual content very quickly, right? Usually it's very manual, and it can be very difficult for creative teams to really use this to their full potential. And so that's why we actually created this tool that allows those teams and individuals to do that. And really, I created this for myself because, I'm using these tools all the time, and there was a lot of things that I loved about them, but there are also some things I wish I could change. And so I just decided to make something that would really help me create a lot of content very quickly. And this is not going to be an exhaustive demo because it could take a little while. But basically what I created was an image generator that allows you to iterate on your prompts and the images that you're generating using Nano Banana. And we also support other models as well. So we have the image generator here. And then once you actually generate your image, so for example, this is a prompt that actually came from one of the suggestions from our previous videos where we have our protein powder that was surrounded by all of the things that you could actually create with, that protein powder. And what I actually wanted to do was I actually wanted to take the prompts that we generated and actually work on them myself and make them into customized prompts that we could actually use. And so once you generate this image, what's really cool about this particular tool and workflow is the fact that you also add that image to your gallery, all right? And so this image will basically allow you to save all of your previously generated photos in the same exact place. So they include the actual assets as well as the original prompt. And so this is really helpful because if you're really trying to track your the various media that you create, this is really helpful, and it's going to help you actually do that. And along with the image comes an actual reference number that you can use whenever you're, trying to look for that specific image again. And so, yeah, this is a really powerful way to basically create content at scale, visual content at scale. And you can use this in your advertising. You can use this in your social media. You can use this in your email campaigns. There's many different ways that you can actually do this. And so if you go back to the Generate tab, we also have support for a few other models, and we're also adding models as well. So currently we have support for Imagen. We have support for Cdance Lite and Pro. And so these are video models that you can actually, once you finish generating your image, you can actually go ahead and actually generate the videos. So if we go ahead and take a look at that as an example, let's go back to the gallery and let's scroll down to all of the images that we created. Actually, let's go here, and I actually created quite a few image assets just using this tool, right? And so this tool, it actually uses Replicate behind the scenes, and it also uses N8N behind the scenes to do a lot of our processing. And so we got a lot of great images, So what we did here is we originally took a static image ad, and if we go ahead and click on Remix, I believe this was the original image that we used, okay? If we go ahead and we click on Remix, it loads it back into the generator, and it shows you all of the reference images that we used. And the particular reference image of the girl was this one right here, okay? So this was the original image, right? And then what we did was we took and added some additional reference images, and we used that to describe the actual container that we wanted to use, okay? And then this is the image that we got. And of course, we actually wanted to continue iterating on this. So what you can do is you can actually just go and click on the edit button, and then you can describe exactly what edits or changes that you want to make to the image. And this is something that is, missing in a lot of tools. And so if we go back to the gallery and we go and we click on the original set of photos, actually that's 4, so let's look at 3. And we scroll all the way down, all right? We basically iterated on our image until we got a couple of options that we really like. So, we switched out the oven with the refrigerator. We added a pineapple at some point, right? At some point, a pineapple was added. And then we changed the color of her outfit. We actually even changed the color, her appearance to some degree, okay? And then we actually even just switched out models, and we just had a completely different model, right? Same pose, different model. And then what we wanted to do was we actually wanted to create a video from our static ads. And you can do all of this inside of our tool. And so this was the first video, and we're actually using Dance Lite. So it's not going to be spectacular, but this is intended to be to give you ideas and concepts. So in the video, we wanted her to be drinking from the shake bottle, right? And so this is what we came up with, right? And it's all right, but obviously it can be better. And so in the next set, it was actually probably the best generation of the set. So in this one, she just transfers from one hand to another, and then she drinks. So this is a really, really good generation. And then we actually tried it with the original one, and it didn't really work out that well. But then again, we're using Dance Lite. If we use something like VO3 or WAN, it'll actually turn out to be a lot better video. But it wasn't bad, actually, except for this artifact here. I think it was a pretty good video. But if you actually want to create images or videos from your images, what you can do is you can actually just select the image that you want, okay? And then you go back to the Generate tab, and the image will appear at the bottom of the screen, okay? And then if you close everything out, let's see here, what you can do is you can actually start from scratch, and you can choose the model that you want. So in this case, we want Dance Lite, and we want to take our selected image, and we want to just drag and drop that. And then we can use our prompt to generate the actual video. So this is a really, really powerful workflow. And what's even better about this is the fact that, once you actually have your the images that you like, you can also share it with your team. So for example, let's say that we really like this image. We can actually go ahead and we can either download it, we can remix it, or we can share it. And what happens with that is it actually sends a Slack notification to our team, notifying people of what we have. So what we can do is we can just type in a comment here like, I really like this image, and then we use a pipe, and then let's look at this for our next campaign, okay? And then what we do is we can save the comment, all right? So someone coming through can actually see what the person said about that. We can actually add tags if we want. So we can say something like breakfast, add. Okay, we can add the tag. And then what we can do is we can actually share the image as well as the comments that we made. So if you go ahead and check out our Slack, we can see that the image was added. And you can see the comments that we made here, and you can also see the link as well as the reference image. Okay, and then what it also does is it also posts that information to our Airtable. So I really like this image. Let's look at it for our next campaign, and this is the reference number, and then we have the link, and then we can update this as we see fit. So, you can see that this is a really powerful way to not only be able to create many different, assets for your campaigns, your advertising, promotion, things like that, but you can also essentially connect this workflow into the rest of your team so you can really organize and keep track of your entire content creation process. And so this is how we're using AI to create our visual content, as well as communicating with each other and managing and keeping track of things. And if you'd like something like this for yourself or for your team, just click on the link below and schedule a call. AI is making so many things possible, and we're just really getting started. So with that, I'll see you in the next video.